Hey girls, so this is going to be just for you three, and I'll send you each three links so you know. I'm just going to use initials on the board because, you know, I don't want anyone else to understand it in this way. A lot of people that interact with my videos still don't get it. You know, they really just don't get it. So, and you three do, but not completely. So I just want to demonstrate something for you because I love you all so much. But, okay, in order for me to be able to synchronize my life with our friends, I have to have already been in touch with my emotions a while ago and understand that process and how they work. And trust me, that was a journey on its own. And the reason I can synchronize my life with Christine and follow it wherever it takes me is because I'm in touch with all of that stuff. See, what most people don't understand about trauma of any kind, whether it's childhood trauma, especially sexual trauma, is another very confusing one, difficult one to deal with. But let's just take mine, childhood trauma. See, the only way to get in touch with someone that hurt me so badly, you know, like a parent, in a physical way, was to go back and understand the pain of that person. And not just understand it, not just sympathize with it, feel it, empathize with it. And for most people dealing with trauma, the idea, especially like sexual assault, physical abuse, anything like that, the idea of getting in touch with the pain of the other person is just something that they can't imagine. And that's because of the emotion that's within them, and the confusion, the anger, the pain of what that other person did. But an awakening simply means awakening to the other side of the pain you're feeling. Because there's two sides to everything. Yin yang, life, death, February 13th, death, rebirth. Right? I could do that. I could reach out and synchronize that date with a gazillion people that passed away on that day and were reborn on that day. It happens every day. It happens every moment of every second we're here. Someone dies, someone lives. Someone goes, someone comes. Yin yang, good and bad, up, down. Just always and opposite. Always. And just like with anything, when you understand both sides, there's no confusion about it. You at least understand, right? Even in a conversation. Doesn't mean you have to agree with the other side. But if you can understand the other side, it at least makes it easier to come to terms with your feelings about whatever it is. Because you have a better understanding of it, a fuller understanding of it, you know? What leaves you when you come to terms or awaken to any kind of trauma, pain, loss, grief, all of those things, isn't the pain that goes away. No, it's the confusion about it that goes away, and the not knowing what to do with it that goes away. See, once you can get in touch with it and understand it, then you know exactly what you need to do to get rid of it. You know, and that can be a journey to get rid of it, but it's a different one than all three of you have been on. It's a journey of knowing what to do to get rid of it. Okay? I hope I'm demonstrating that to you guys. So I want to just show you a couple things on the board. Don't worry about numbers, you know, but just think about it from, in order for me to be able to identify all these synchronizations, imagine how in touch I would have had to been with people to find those out, right? I didn't do any of this over the phone. You know, there hasn't been a lot of phone conversations. Most of this isn't how this has worked, because it wouldn't work that way. So when you see synchronizations, the ones I point out, how deep they go, ask yourself, how connected you have to be with the emotions that you're talking about to realize all those synchronizations and understand where they were taking me and how to follow them properly, because I don't know where I'm going. When I started all of this with Christine, The only thing I knew was that she passed away in Taiwan in February of 2018. I didn't even know the exact date she died on. That's it. That's all I knew. Now I could tell you anything about her life I wanted, all the way up until her death. And if I kept going, I could tell you even more, which I think is what she would want. I think what she's crying out most is she was ghosted off this planet. And for someone that was so connected as her, as you both know, couldn't be a worse. Nothing could be worse for someone like Christine than there not even being a funeral, a tribute, a goodbye, nothing sent to all of her friends and the people she cared about. Because we all know she was way more connected to so many of us out here, more so than she was to the people she was related to by blood or family or anything like that. So for her to not get to say bye to her family would have been a huge, huge deal for her. And that's what she wants us to do. Honor her, remember her, and let everyone know what happened to her. So I'm going to point out a few things that I hope you three, and again, well, I guess I've already said names, but I'll just use you guys as letters, okay? So I'm going to start with her and myself. Just us two, because remember, there's always the opposite. There has to be two. Remember, she died, I was reborn on February 13th. I only point that out to show the synchronicity in the both sides. How it can, and how, and to remind you that I could only do this if I was in touch with all these things. That's the only way this would happen. Okay? We'll start with her. And then from her, I'm going to add A, L, H is for Heather Wyatt. You two will know both of her. Christine and myself. 5 of us, right? And I'm actually going to move L under A because it was another layer that got me there. Now I'm going to just put out some similarities or some significant connections between just us. And let me go ahead and add another L for my daughter, since I'm talking to her on this as well. Okay? So what's things that jump out here, say for birth, okay? Well, in birth, what we have in common is me, Christine, Heather, all have a birthday in June. My mom has one in June. Mine's in June. Well, I'll put that down. Christine's is in June. Oh, I'll put that down. Heather's is in June. So Heather, Christine, myself. I just realized I just put that all down there. Okay, you guys get the point. We all have a lot of birthdays in common. Alright, in February, if I took February, girls, you know your dad passed away in February. If I took December 8th, think about how intense it would have had to been to discover that I lost my grandfather on the same day, girls, as you lost your mom. Death, December 8th. And I can tell you even more. I know girls, I've mentioned Stephanie to you, my other friend. She was who gave me a place to stay when I was 15. That girl. Her grandma died on that day. December 8th. All deaths. Well, I could do it the other way. My cousin Jason, that's his birthday. My friend Audrey, that's her birthday. And you know about the Audrey thing. You can see other synchronicities in here that I would have picked up on at some point. So I'm just pointing out the big ones. Other birthdays. April, we got my daughter, and we got So-So. Right? Both of them were born in April. So-So was born in the same hospital as my daughter's and mine 2 youngest kids, Logan and Lainey. So-So was born in that same hospital. So-So was born on the April 22nd. Same day that my daughter Elle's son was due. He was actually born on the 18th. Still April. Birth. If I wanted to switch birth to death, April, I could list. I have friend's birthday, friend died of cancer. Okay, here's another one. Stephanie. Remember my friend Stephanie? That I told you her grandmother passed on December 8th. Right? That's when her grandmother passed. Christine's birthday is June 9th. Correct? So Stephanie has a grandmother that died on the same day as my grandfather, Anne and Linda's mother, and has a cousin that died at 26 from cancer on Christine's birthday. Literally on the same day, but again, death and life. December 8th, death. We all know about December 8th. I just told you about, I have two cousins, a cousin Jason, born on that day. My friend Audrey, born on that day. December 8th, birth. Right? You can go with other stuff. Remember the four? Christine, myself, Anne, Linda, Heather. June birthday. June birthday. June birthday. No June birthdays, but Christine's two BFFs. Right? One and number two. We all five moved to the same part of Georgia at some point. Christine and myself lived in the same town that has the hospital again, that I almost lost my life in, that two of my kids were born in, that one of your kids were born in. Okay, I can go on and on and on and on. And I can point out as many of those as you could possibly want. And it would paint you whatever picture eventually was trying to paint itself. Because that's the thing, I'm just following. Because when you awaken to it and you can see the other side, you can follow it very, very easily to anything you want. So I can tell you that she was struggling with PTSD. It's how I can tell you there's a lot more to what happened on that roof than anyone's ever been told. That's why I can tell you that the last week of her life was not good at all. I can tell you down to the fact that on that roof that she jumped off of on the 5th floor, before she did it, had some books thrown around everywhere, like there'd been a struggle, and those books, most of them were about metaphysical world and stuff she cared about, and one of them was about a travel book, magazine. I can follow that to wherever it needs to go because I'm just feeling what she felt. So she's just showing me what she wants me to see. And the reason why she showed me all these things is because these are all the things that people don't know. Because no one was told, literally, not even the day she passed away. So how could they possibly know that she was facing a divorce and a lawsuit, legal issue with her family, had been estranged, thought her mother was coming down with Alzheimer's, that her mother had gotten really angry with her the last few months she was alive, to the point that Christine thought she had early onset Alzheimer's, to the fact that days after she was passed away, it seemed like her mother didn't have a care in the world, like Christine had not even been here. She just picked right up and moved right on. I can tell you that the police believe someone pushed Christine off the roof. And I can tell you that wasn't someone physically. You can be pushed in other ways. I can tell you why she didn't remember and never recovered a memory of jumping herself off that roof. And my daughter will understand that because, and what happened to me, I never recovered a memory of what actually happened. I just had to come to terms with what everyone told me about that event in that same hospital that I had to come to terms with last year. I can tell you that the same medication she was on when she jumped. It's the same medication I was on in that hospital that led to everything. I can tell you that she had no intention of killing herself, just like I did that day, and was planning for a whole future at the time of her death. She was talking to a travel agent. She had an appointment to get tattoos at a place called CNY. It's where she was going to get them, wherever CNY is. I mean, I could go follow that through, but I just haven't. I don't even know who she's planning on getting them with. I know, Linda, you've told me about you guys planning on going to get swallows, so maybe that's what she was talking about. But the feeling I got, she was talking to someone else about she was just talking about she wanted to get a tattoo, and a significant one, to signify a rebirth, because that's what she was planning at the time of that she passed, and she wasn't trying to kill herself that night. She took too many. She went too far. She was trying to kill the numbness, and with everything else she'd been through, all those medications and the pain medication she had to be on because of her injuries, was very, very, caused a lot of problems, which is why she was in withdrawals about 2 weeks before she passed, around February 4th-ish. That's why she was really sick that week. She was actually dealing with withdrawals. And I know that because in January, she was still not getting high, but taking pain pills for her injuries, and could feel them very well, if that makes sense. So it affected her behavior, is how I can put that together. Anyway, this is just a sliver of what I know, and well, I mean, it's, we could paint as much of this as we wanted to. It's really truly up to you girls. How far you want to take this, and how much do you want to put out to what would Christine want her friends to know. I love her like a family member, because that's what she feels like to me now. But I can't tell you what she would want someone like you or your sister to know, or either one of you, or any of her friends. I can't tell you that. You know her. You know what she would want everyone to know about her. And we were brought together to make that happen, because you guys know that, and I can get you to there and show it to you. Her birthday's in a couple days, so let's find out what we can and decide what to let the world know. Love you three. And there's a reason why you're drawn together too. We can talk about that, the three of you, some other time. Love you all. Bye.